Am I the asshole for not letting my sister be a bridesmaid? I, 27F, and my sister, 27F, are identical twins. She has been told by almost everyone that she is the more beautiful one. My parents favor her more and will do anything that she asks. I used to be jealous of her when I was younger, but quickly got over it. She went off to attend college and got engaged after graduating. I wasn't invited to her wedding. She told me it was because they were having food I couldn't eat. My parents threw her a huge wedding that cost hundreds. She and her ex went through a ton of hard times. I tried to be there for moral support, but each time she pushed me away. I am now engaged to my fiancé, 28F. Her parents offered to help with wedding expenses. My parents wanted nothing to do with our wedding. My sister found out we were engaged and started begging me if she could be bridesmaid. I told her no, but she would receive an invite. She blew up on the phone at me that I was choosing friends over family and she deserved to be a bridesmaid. My parents called me and told me to let sister be a bridesmaid. Am I the asshole for not letting my sister be a bridesmaid? Not the asshole. Tell her that you have food she can't eat. Not the asshole. At this point I wouldn't even invite her. She sounds like the type who would just go for attention whoring. Not the asshole. She didn't even invite you when she got married. Sounds like you are choosing friends over family as part of a long history of family not being there for you. Not the asshole. She keeps acting like a cow. She might not even get an invite to the wedding, because you are having people food. Your parents are showing their favoritism. I am betting they didn't call her to push for inviting you to her wedding. Info. You say in your op. My parents wanted nothing to do with our wedding. In your explanation, you say, I feel that my actions will ruin my relationship with my family. Op. I want to ask this in all seriousness, do you currently have a relationship with your family to ruin? Your sister is selfish, and your parents not only favor her, but depending on their reasons for not wanting to be involved in your wedding, may be homophobic as well. At best, you're in a golden child, scapegoat dynamic. At worst, your bio-donors are homophobic. Are your parents even coming to your wedding? Not the asshole. I wasn't invited to her wedding. Pretty bold of her to demand being a bridesmaid. Time to not invite her and your parents at all. Not the asshole. Tell her that she's welcome to come. Your only requirement is that she wear the bridesmaid dress that you wore to her wedding. Not the asshole and laughing my ass off the cheek of her asking after you weren't even invited to her wedding with that flimsy excuse. I'd even go so far as to retract her invitation altogether if she carries on. And be careful that she doesn't cause drama at the wedding itself. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. Am I the asshole for walking out of a coworker's D&D game? I, 20 female, have been playing Dungeons & Dragons for a few years now with the same online group. We went on hiatus and I really missed playing, so I started looking for another group. My coworker, 22 male, heard about this and invited me to join a game he just started. It was IRL, which I really wanted to try because I hear it's so much better IRL than online, so I enthusiastically said yes. Well, I showed up to play and the vibes were immediately off. I was the only girl at the table, and definitely the youngest, everyone else was 22-26. They questioned my character choice, saying the group really needed a healer, but I had already chosen a different skill set. For anyone familiar with D&D or fantasy tropes in general, the single girl is always the healer, mother figure, which I wanted to avoid at all costs. After some debate, my coworker shut them down and let me play the character I wanted. I should have walked out right then, but I stuck around to play 2 sessions. They were hell. Every choice I made in character was ignored or questioned. The other players' characters flirted with and harassed my character in every interaction. They barely let me do anything in the game and fought over which character would be able to date mine. In the middle of the second session, one of them asked what my character's bra size was. I stood up and said, "Nope. Not going to take this anymore. You guys have fun," and walked out. Ever since then they've all been blowing up my phone saying I ruined their game, that I shouldn't have walked out like that. I've blocked most of them because the messages started getting insulting. However, my coworker hasn't really talked to me since, and I feel like I should have tried to resolve the issue in a different way since I never told the group I was uncomfortable with character romance. Am I the asshole in this situation? Not the asshole. D&D player myself, and what the fuck. Firstly, the group doesn't need anything. If everyone is a bard, you just make do. There's no reason to bully a player into a specific class or role they don't want. And the fact that they're blowing you up for ruining their game, while ignoring that the final straw was literal sexual harassment is wild. These guys treated you as the token girl and decided they were entitled to you, rather than treating you as a member of the party. There is no world in which you're the asshole here. Not the asshole, holy fucking creepy. Let Mr. Creepy Friend stay TF away from you. Not the asshole. Just remember, no D&D is better than bad D&D. Those guys were super creepy and sexist. You did the right thing. Did the DM even try to stop this behavior? Trust me. A player leaving mid-session will not ruin it. NTA. Not the asshole, that's just gross. County worker should be ashamed for himself and the friend group you got introduced to. 20 female. Welp, I know where this is going. Not the asshole, and don't second-guess yourself. It's a common neckbeard tactic to make you feel guilty for not allowing them to sexually harass you. Not the asshole. They were obviously being tone-deaf jerks. Even if you didn't explicitly say, "Hey, this is making me uncomfortable and making this an unfun experience," I'm sure that was perfectly evident. The fact that they were aggressive rather than apologetic after you walked out makes this very clear to me. It is a cliché but a truism. No D&D is better than bad D&D. Sorry you had to go through this, and, for what it's worth, as a DM I actually prefer running games online. It can be hard to find a game, as a player, but if you keep looking you can find a cool group that you vibe with. Not the asshole. Your coworker allowed you to be sexually harassed by his friends more than once? Like, he just let it happen? What a shitty DM. Am I the asshole for telling my soon-to-be mill that my engagement ring is cursed? F26, just got engaged. My soon-to-be mill is a nightmare. We are currently renovating a part of our place and she has been lent a key in the meantime because she keeps coming over uninvited under the guise of helping clean up, but she really just likes to snoop and interfere. I do a martial art and take my engagement ring off before class. I came home from an afternoon class one day and my engagement ring was not in the jewelry dish that I usually leave it in. I asked her about it and she told me that she'd taken it to a jeweler to get it cleaned. She looked super smug about it, and when I asked which jeweler, she pretended she couldn't remember. I didn't want to give her the satisfaction of having a reaction to it, so I just let it slide for a couple of days. A couple of days pass and I ask her about it again and she's super vague, still pretending she can't remember which jeweler and saying she's too busy to go pick it up anytime soon. So I said, "Wow, I really feel for that jeweler, hope nothing happens to her." She asked what I meant, and I told her that my superstitious Brazilian grandmother had performed some traditional ritual on it that's usually known to curse anyone who takes or handles the ring other than the owner. She looked uneasy and asked me a couple more questions about this ritual, and I made some story up about how my mother's ring had been taken by a burglar who was crushed by a pillar of cement on his way out of the house. I totally made this entire ritual up, and I do have a Brazilian grandmother, but obviously she did not do some ritual to my ring. The next day, my fiancé told me while I was out that she was there to clean up a bit. Lo and behold, I get home, she had already left, and find my ring where I had left it. It didn't look any cleaner than it had before. Lol. A week later, I receive an abusive call from her saying she'd been in a minor car accident and she was blaming me and my witch doctor grandmother, saying she was now cursed for having touched it. I passed the phone to my fiancé who tried to calm her down, but she was hysterical. I told my fiancé what I had told her, and he scolded me a bit because we both know how she is and I should have known she'd react this sort of way. It's been a further week since then and she refuses to talk to me and keeps slandering me to my fiancé. Overall, he sort of recognizes how ridiculous she's being, but the drama of the situation is making me wonder if the whole curse tale was taking it a bit too far. So, am I the asshole? ETA. Grammar. Update. I really did not expect this sort of response to this post. Thank you all so much for the awards. Fiancé and I have had a big chat, and he's admitted he has to step up when it comes to his mother. He retrieved her key an hour ago, and he told her not to worry about the curse because it would have no effect on anyone who touched it without malicious intent. Big thank you to the commenters who suggested that absolutely gold approach. NTA. That's hilarious. The nerve of her, taking your ring. She deserves the curse. I'm just sorry it's causing trouble for you. I kind of think your fiancé earned it by tolerating her behavior and not having changed the locks already. Also, have you checked your ring? I don't understand why she'd take it unless it was to keep it away from you. Does she disapprove of the engagement, or of you taking it off even if it's for a good reason? Was she going to swap stones or claim to have lost it? I'd really need to know her motivation for taking it. You might want to come clean before she meets your grandmother at the wedding though. Not the asshole. You should tell her there's no way she could have even cursed since she took the ring with good intentions and the curse only curses people with bad intentions. The reason you were worried about the jeweler is because some jewelers will steal rings and swap them out for fake stones. And you didn't know how honest the jeweler was because you didn't know them at all. I'll bet she chokes on her own lies rather than admit she stole it to steal it. Not the asshole. She stole your engagement ring. Making up a story is the least you could have done to her. I just laughed so loud that I snorted and scared my dog. Ha ha ha, you are brilliant. How did you come up with something that creative? Not the asshole, and you need to change the locks. Not the asshole. Tell her that her house key is also cursed. Lol, not the asshole. Your mill is ridiculous, she literally stole from you and is now trying to deflect that back onto you because she believed a fairy tale caused a car accident. Not the asshole, this story is incredible. Your mill is so stupid it's a miracle she ever passed a driver's test in the first place. She seems so obnoxious, haha. Edit for sentence structure. Not the asshole, that was a smart approach. She refuses to talk to me. Sounds like a win, lol. Am I the asshole for using the same bowl for my daughter's and my cat's food? Not really the same bowl, but that's the easiest way to describe it. Sorry if this is rambling, I'll try and make sense. So I have a 8-month-old daughter who, even though she eats solids, doesn't eat a lot. I have some little bowls that are the perfect size for how much she eats. So since she started solids, these have been her bowls. We recently got a kitten. She has a dish of dry food that is always accessible, and in the evening she gets some wet food. There is not a lot of room in her food nook. So after her water dish and dry food dish, I needed something small for her wet food and decided the small bowls were perfect. My sil came to visit this week. She was here for dinner, so saw me feeding my daughter from one of the bowls. Then later on she saw me put the same bowl down for the cat and got really angry with me, saying I was disgusting, unhygienic, etc. I explained that it wasn't the same bowl, one always use the same one for the cat, but apparently it's still bad. She said I'm putting my daughter and the cat at the same level. She got some mutual friends involved and now they're all saying I'm an asshole for treating the cat the same as my daughter. I don't know what to think anymore. NTA, this is wackadoo. Not the asshole what? I thought you were using the same bowl but they just look alike? How is this even a debate? Your sil needs to mind her business and stop creating drama. Not the asshole. Your sister is completely overreacting. It's a bowl. Not the asshole. Even if it was the same bowl, it's been washed. And honestly, why is the cat somehow less and not good enough to eat from the same bowls the baby does? Seriously, what is your sister-in-law's problem? Sounds like she just wanted to be judgy. Not the asshole. OMG, so not the asshole. Your sil, however. I mean, did she really need to get mutual friends involved in something so stupid? She said I'm putting my daughter and the cat at the same level. The bowls you serve their food in is the measure of their worth? Not the asshole. What I mean, what? It's just the same kind of bowl, but not the actual same bowl. Unless your daughter is eating out of the bowl the cat has eaten out of, it makes no difference whatsoever. A different dish is a different dish. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. It's just a bowl, and not even the same one. Though personally, as long as it's washed, I don't see a big deal in using a bowl that an animal used. It's just a bowl.